to say, Beast of Kane, that theme song never gets old. When it comes on and I hear him say, "Are we about to do it?" Yeah, damn right, we about to do it. And that's what's going to happen here on this Tuesday night. Hurricane coming in here, but we ain't worried. We got God on our side, and he's going to protect this college football Saturday as well. The Chop and Block podcast is live again for the second week of the season. This is episode 2. We're glad to have you on here. And as you can see on the screen, we've got a lot of mainstays returning back to season 2, including your own Coach Price's Dumpster Juice tonight, and he just found out 5 minutes ago. So this is going to get real interesting tonight. Once again, Craig coming down there from, Craig, where do you live, man? It's close to Auburn.
Yeah, Gunnersville, Alabama, about 2 hours away.
That's right. Gunnersville, that's probably a 3.5-hour trip. Nice little, drive down south.
I didn't go down this last Saturday for the game.
I didn't realize you was at. My wife's from Arab.
Oh, no joke, right up the mountain.
So yeah, we all got ties to that area.
No, she's from Arab, which is right outside of Gunnersville.
Hey, we all got ties to that area. I played at Snead State and spent some time in Boaz, Alabama, and enjoyed it. But the Chop and Block podcast is back tonight. Beast of Kane, the executive producer of the Chop and Block podcast, Craig Two-Turn, we can't mention his real name, and Coach Price, and your host here, Mr. Steve Dalton. In my real name, Dalton Goins tonight. That's because of some other shows and some duties that I have. But Steve Dalton it is tonight. What a week in college football. We are just a couple weeks away from the ultimate no wedding weekend of October 12th, and we can't wait for that. But this weekend might steal it all. We've got Georgia, Alabama. We've got all these NFL games we're going to talk about here. The AP poll is outrageous with certain teams in there. So let's bring it all to the table. Beast of Kane, start it with the first question tonight.
Well, before I start, I want to give you all a warning. Every time I get ready to go on a show, I have to reach in the refrigerator and get something. And today I picked this up. And it's called Kentucky Vanilla Barrel. And I ain't never had horse piss, but I imagine if I did have it, this is what it would taste like. This is 100% awful. But you know what? I'm gonna keep drinking it, and then I'm gonna wash it down with a little bit more of that Breckenridge. So, but look, man, we all know what it's about. We're gonna talk about a lot of things, but it's only one game coming on this week, and we all know what that game is. It's in Tuscaloosa. And
say it again, Barry. Where's it at?
In Tuscaloosa.
Woo!
Listen, and let me tell you something, man. I ain't gonna say nothing about this game right now, because I know this is about to be a fight. I'm gonna step back a little bit. All right. But let's just ease into this situation tonight. And we want Craig, and I know Two-Turn got something to say about Mr. Hugh Freeze. I think that ice is about to melt down in Auburn. What say you, Craig?
Nah, he's got a longer lease than that. He's got next year to prove it. They're going to be portal shopping hardcore for a quarterback this year. He's getting bit in the ass right now because he didn't do it last year. You say that, and when you look at the stats, and I'm not really a stats guy. I was watching this thing on Twitter early today talking about Auburn. Offensively, the turnover, it's just turnovers. That's it. I mean, 18 turnovers this year so far. And you can't. I don't care if you're playing a junior high team. You're not going to win if you turn the ball over 18 times. 5 in the last game. Just not a good, just not executing, and that goes back to coaching. I mean, the coaches don't. It's not the X's and O's, it's the Dicks and the Joes, or whatever you say. But it's at some point, you got to coach them up and either make it simpler for them, or I don't know. But I mean, here's some stats for you. So of the 4 games Auburn's played this year, they're averaging 462 yards a game, 8 yards a play on offense. Now, granted, that's what Texas or Alabama A&M thrown in there, so you can toss that one out and probably cut it down to about 6. But 8 yards per play is like top 3 or 4 in the country. which sounds ridiculous if you think about that stat. But, I mean, total yards and average yards per play, they're right up there where they ought to be. They just got to turn the dang ball over. They have no quarterback. I mean, I don't know. I watched the game again. I watched the game again, as painful as it was to watch it, and just misreads on offense. I mean, it was just bad. It was just bad quarterback play. I mean, this is the hole that Freeze has dug himself in. He's going to have to die in it this year. You know, I was looking at the year. I was thinking probably 7 wins this year. Now I don't think we make it to a bowl game with our schedule. I just don't. I don't know where I see 4 more wins on that schedule. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I mean, we'll see a lot how resilient they are when Oklahoma comes to town this weekend. But I ain't looking for nothing spectacular in that game. Crazy enough, Vegas has only got that game at like a 2.5-point split.
I got y'all winning this weekend.
Well, Craig, so? I gotta ask you something. You talk about Dicks and Joes. Let's talk about P. Diddy and Hoes, because Auburn has got it down. I'm sorry, that was good. Auburn's got it down pat on offense, but they can't carry gonorrhea on defense. And let's just be honest.
They just can't get off the field, man.
They can't on offense. They can't carry gonorrhea. They drop it left and right. They infecting everybody. On defense, they can hold everything.
I'd like to sit here and make a bunch of excuses. They got more talent down there, but let's just be honest. I mean, last year was an aberration. They had no business. Should have beat Alabama. Played Georgia tough. They were playing above themselves. That's like that freshman deal, you know. And now we're back to this is what we got. This is the base. We got to recruit. I think Freeze has got the right idea. You just take pieces out of the portal to complement your high school stuff, and he's doing what he said he was going to do. I mean, they got a top 5 class locked in for next year. You know, this is probably going to be the best recruiting class Auburn's had in the last 25 years. He's getting the talent down there, but at some point, like
keep the class together.
Yeah. Next year, it's going to be like, all right, you've had 2 full years recruiting. Your boys are here. 6-win season stuff ain't going to cut it.
Well, what's going on at the quarterback position? And I want to ask you that, you know, directly. How can we say, you know, if we're recruiting this hard, why do we need to go to a portal for a quarterback when there's quarterbacks out there? How do we not – I guess my question is, why do you not feel confident on the recruiting at the quarterback position at Auburn? And what do they got to do? Is it only the portal is the answer, or what are we seeing here?
I think that's a quick answer. They got Deuce Knight down there. I mean, he's supposedly going to flip from Notre Dame. That's what I keep hearing. He's been to every single game the last – I mean, and Auburn's selling something for real, like Freeze is selling, hey, guys, come down and we'll get you on the field soon.
And I'm a huge fan of Walker White. Walker White's a guy on there.
Yeah, Walker White's on there, but it just goes to show you, I don't think Freeze is an idiot. I mean, he's been – I don't know if he's the offensive guru he was 10 years ago, but I think he can call plays and run an offense. He's a coach. He's been a coach for a long time. You don't just fumble fart into a, you know, $5 or $6 million coaching contract. He doesn't suck is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So I think he knows what he looks at. It just goes to show you, if what we're putting on the field, what you've seen this first 4 weeks is the best we got, my God, how bad is that quarterback room? You know, it's kind of scary to think. We got a lot of I call them driving range pros. You see that guy on the driving range, just strike him down the middle to get on the golf course, and he sucks. I mean, we got some driving range pros, I guess.
But how much money is Freeze making?
I think it's $6 million a year, 6.4. He's like the 10th or 11th pay. He's not a high paid coach.
That's fair.
But he's not doing his job though.
He's not doing the job he's hired to do. Again,
and the messaging. This is what I'm surprised I haven't heard you talk about. The messaging that he's sending out and how he's communicating his disappointments with his team.
If you quarterback those picks, everybody thought Steve Spurrier said it and it was cute. And he said a whole lot more shit than Freeze said. Freeze just said we got to find a quarterback that won't throw it to the other team and a tailback that won't fumble the ball.
Well, you can't put him on the field next week after you say that.
I don't disagree. I think
you lose total confidence. You can take that man in the locker room and say, what the F is wrong with you? Do you want to be here? You can say all you want to say behind closed doors, but when you get out there and you say that right there to a kid, the first time he make a single mistake, his confidence is gonna fall in his cleats.
Well, not to mention last year, I mean, you going in this year, you said you had your guy. You're Hugh Freeze. You come out and publicly say, I could go spend $1 million on a quarterback in the portal.
Didn't do it.
But I got Peyton Thorne here that I can develop on my own, blah, 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 basically saying, I can develop this guy. And if you look at last year, there was flashes of him being – because let's be honest, Peyton Thorne's problem before he got to Auburn was turning the ball over. He threw like 10 interceptions at Michigan State. So this isn't nothing new. Last year when Auburn ran the ball probably 80, 85% of the time and then set up just some easy passes for Thorne, he did good. You can't – what it looks like to me from watching is kind of like Alabama last year. They were asking Jalen Milroe to do things he can't do. I think they're asking Peyton Thorne to do things he's not capable of.
And they're not running the football effectively. I mean, that's Auburn football.
But they keep fumbling it.
And then
but they're not effective. And what I mean by effective is you can't fumble the football. These Auburn football teams that are successful, they don't turn the ball over.
Any team
they make you earn it. You know, they make you earn it on defense, and they really punish you on offense. And it's like, you look at the great Auburn teams. I mean, one of the teams that beat Alabama, one of the better Alabama teams is not, in my opinion, not even a top 10 Auburn team, and that's Jared Stidham and them. You know, that team controlled the whole game by running the football and play action pass. And last year you talk about Peyton Thorne. I mean, the guy, he did well against Alabama because they were able to run the football.
Yeah.
But you got to kind of like throw the Alabama game out. Because the reason I say that is that game is just weird. It's like it's an anomaly. You know, every year you don't never know what's going to happen because
it's
the Iron Bowl. So you kind of have to throw it out.
Yeah, but they had the same success in the Georgia game. They ran all
I agree.
Georgia.
That's exactly what I was going to say. They looked the exact same in both games.
It's
the
like
quarterback was able to run the football. They were both teams were able to run the football. I mean, they put up the same kind of fight against a similar team.
But when I look at Auburn this year, I just don't see them as they're just a team.
I don't either.
They're not good. I mean, there ain't no one else to put that. They're not good.
Right.
Well, like I said, that's what makes me mad, Craig. When you got fans that can say that, and then you got this idiot hopping on talking. Like I said, he comes out publicly and says, "Yeah, well, I love Sam Pittman, but if we play them 9 more times, we win 9 times." How can you say that when you're telling me how you got a turnover problem? What's to say you're not going to turn it over 3 to 5 more times?
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
That's like Sam Pittman coming
out. I'm not trying to stand up for Freeze on that one. That was dumb.
I mean, that's like Sam Pittman coming out and saying, if we played Oklahoma State 9 more times, we beat them 9 times because Arkansas should have beat Oklahoma State, but they turned the ball over. I mean, it happens.
It's hard to know. It's hard to know what he's talking about in the locker room and what he's trying to tell. I don't know the messaging. I can only imagine he's got to be talking about, boys, we just took one in the chin again, and this is how you show you're resilient or not.
Can we at least announce the elephant in the room? We want to talk about elephants tonight. Bo Wallace, I mean, what he said on Twitter to me is viable. Why would he lie? What does he benefit from lying other than just telling it how it is? And I'll be honest with you, Bo Wallace was the most destroyed quarterback in his 4 years there at Ole Miss. He was destroyed on the field. I mean, he played through it all. And like he said, he would take a numbing shot before every game just to make this guy's paycheck. And what has he gotten in return or anything? Which I don't necessarily think he deserves anything, but that's the thing. Hugh Freeze is not a human. He is an alien. This guy, he does not care about human feelings. He does not care about these players. And that's how he explains it on Saturday night when he gets his ass kicked. It's all the players' fault.
He cares about prostitutes, man. Don't sit there and say that. He does care about
He for sure pays for them. Ain't no doubt about it.
He was a trendsetter just before his time, man. 10 years late, he'd have been fine with that.
Hey, look, ain't nothing wrong with buying some trim when you need it. Ain't nothing wrong with buying a little trim.
I don't know what Bo Wallace's deal is. Again, I was not an Ole Miss fan, nor ever will be. I do remember last year seeing him on that Locked on Auburn podcast talking about how great Hugh Freeze was. So I don't know what happens in a year.
Yeah, he came out and was like saying, he said, yes, I was talking about as far as, the way he set me up in a game, the plays. Yeah, he's an offensive genius, but the way he treats his players outside of the game is what he was clarified it as on Twitter, which we don't know what that is. There's no other players coming out and saying anything right now. I wonder what Chad Kelly's got to say about it. But Chad Kelly's, I don't know what he's doing now. He's probably playing Canadian Football League, snorting coke.
There was another thing. One of the Locked On Auburn thing yesterday or this morning was talking about a bunch of the former players got on there that they were pissed off because they were having to pay for tickets. Like one of them was like, and I'm like, welcome to. I mean, for the most part, there's like a whole department that handles that. So they had several other former players that came on. It was like, these guys are nuts. One of them got pissed off because he was asked to leave. They have this. You've seen the building down there. It's $1 billion building. They have this big recruiting center in it. And one of the guys was talking to one of a bunch of recruits, and they asked him to leave. Well, that's illegal. According to the NCAA, was my understanding of the podcast. Again, I have not read all the by rules about that stuff, but you can't be talking to recruits as an entity of the university if you're not affiliated with the university officially.
That's true.
So, I mean, I don't know if there's smoke, there's fire, and I know how this goes. When it's a dumpster fire, it's on fire. I got it. This ain't my first year being an Auburn fan.
Look at this. Look who just popped on.
I was going to say, who is that down there?
There he
He's
is.
undercover. We can't even see his face.
Georgia blows.
Hey, play Stone Cold's music.
Hey, Craig, before we hop off the Auburn train, because I know it won't last long tonight, but before we hop off the Auburn train, how much emphasis do you put on, this whole Bo Wallace talk, this whole, Hugh Freeze this and Ole Miss, Hugh Freeze that? I mean, how much do you put into that? Does it make you worried? Do you?
Nah, I'm not worried about Bo Wallace. If again, we're just right in that. This is the second year. He didn't get a full spring last year for recruiting season. If you start hearing rumbles about that shit that goes on this year, then I'm worried.
Yeah.
If we start losing recruits over stuff like that, I'm worried. But again, the car that Auburn's selling is there's playing time here, and we got money to pay you, and a lot of these kids are buying into it. We'll see. I mean, there's nothing official to a commitment until they sign. We all know that. We can flirt with whoever we want to. It's going to be what it is. But I think he's done for the most part. Again, you shouldn't lose games you shouldn't lose. There's no excuse for that. But as far as the recruiting goes, he's done what he said he was going to do. He said he wants to build relationships with high school programs and recruit the old-fashioned way and use the portal instead of pulling a Lane Kiffin and just getting a whole bunch of portal kids in or a Dion. Which is right or wrong, man? I don't know. I mean, this year it ain't right, of course, but it's hard to say when your line is thin. What would I mean? We would have won. I think Auburn be 4-0 right now with a different quarterback. But there's some gaping holes. There's some issues that go far beyond just a quarterback. I think he knew that. He knows the talent that's down there. I mean, so we go out and we buy $1 million quarterback, and then they get their ACL blown out the first game because they don't have an offensive line.
Hey, can I hop in for a second on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Nobody likes to bash Hugh Freeze more than I do. And when Bo Wallace's stuff came out, I first read it, and boy, I was texting my buddies. I was like, man, did you see Bo Wallace? He's destroying Hugh Freeze. This is going to be great. And then I watched the whole press conference, and I was really unimpressed. I mean, it took about 15 seconds to start that press conference for Hugh to say, or, the coaching staff, we suck, basically. We let the team down. So it's not like, he did take responsibility for that crap, that show that they put on before he threw his players under the bus. But, a lot of what he said was true. You can't have players turn the ball over. What they said, they have 10 turnovers so far this year, or the
past two games.
I think it's 18.
Yeah, you can't.
10 in the past 2 games.
I mean, Hugh Freeze, the coaching staff's not out on the field throwing interceptions and throwing the ball. so what he's saying is right. And furthermore, with the NIL stuff, I could care less if coaches throw these players under the bus. They're paid entertainers now. So, screw them. That's my thoughts.
Well, like I said, I think the interceptions, like I said, I understand that you can't throw interceptions, especially or fumbles and interceptions, 10 in 2 games. But at some point, if you, like I said, watching the games, like I said, my point of view, they're asking the quarterback, specifically when Thorne's in, to do things that aren't his strengths. So you're forcing him to try to make throws that he's not the type of caliber quarterback to make those throws.
Auburn's Hugh Freeze and that whole staff. I don't know, the recruiting people, whatever. Their biggest. I mean, their biggest mistake was not going after a portal quarterback hard and heavy.
Yeah, we talked about that.
They let Cam Ward go to Miami. Well, how different? How much different is Auburn with Cam Ward?
Unbelievably. Unbelievably.
And that
really
guy cost.
That. You take away 18 turnovers from Auburn, they're undefeated.
Right. And looking good, probably. I mean, that probably not even anything close.
Right.
If my aunt had it, never mind.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's always the other side of it. But still, it's realistic. It's not.
It's realistic that Tony's aunt has a. It could be. That's what I'm saying.
Never know.
Anything's possible in this world, especially when we're talking about Auburn football or Alabama football. And but hey, I think we've handled that enough. I know Barry's probably laughing his tail off backstage, but let's throw it to the game that I think we're all here to discuss before it gets a little wild. Let's go ahead and knock it out. It's Alabama, Georgia. And this time, for the first time in God knows how long, it's Georgia versus somebody other than Nick Saban. And in this particular, game, it is Kalen DeBoer and Nick, not Nick Saban, Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart, Nick Saban 2.0, if you want to add. But this game, I know there's a lot of hate between us guys, and listen, we've done this game multiple times as friends and coaches and friends and what have you. It's going to be another barn burner. It's going to be another game to where we all could say at the end of the game, hey, I could see my team losing or winning. It just is what it is. This game, to me, still, as of right now, makes the SEC championship game. And I know that sounds weird with the change in the conference, but it still feels that way. It's fair to say this game, the winner of this game will be in Atlanta come December. So
start off, Coach.
Yeah, go ahead, Coach Price. We're going to bring you in here. We're not going to throw dumpster juice unless you just got it made out for Alabama. But Coach Price, take it away.
I'm really not worried about this ball game. I mean, win or lose with a 12-team playoff, all we're looking at right now is where would you fit on a bracket, who would be the team in Atlanta. We still got Texas to discuss, but this is a ball game where we're going to find out what Alabama weakness is going forward and what Georgia weakness is going forward. I already know that one of the weaknesses we have is we start ball games on offense too slow. No matter who it is, especially a team like Alabama, we can't start the ball game out on offense slow and allow them to go up a couple of scores. It's just going to make it a harder ball game to try to go win, because in the end, this is not the Kentucky game. Now, will Georgia come out and be a totally different team than what they were against Kentucky? Yeah, just like don't expect Alabama to come out and beat a team that played South Florida. So I look at this ball game as what you're going to see is one of the two teams who will end up winning the national championship and representing the SEC as the SEC champs. This is the game here. But how would the coaches go about it, considering the fact it's not as big and as important as it used to be? See, the game don't carry the same implications that it used to be. What this is right now is a Georgia fan, Alabama fan slobber knocker game. Because the only people who are really into this ball game like that is going to be the fans. Because the outcome one way or the other is not going to dictate what the outcome of the season is going to be.
I got to ask you a question real quick, Coach. I have the feeling that this game is not the traditional Alabama-Georgia game feeling. And what I mean by that is, if you even go back to the COVID year, 2020, when Stetson Bennett made one of his first career starts on the road and lost in Alabama, that game, to me, has the same kind of feel. It doesn't feel like this game truly has, end-all implications. It feels like it's just another game. And I think, to me, that benefits Georgia.
Now put this game in November, it's a different story.
Oh, no doubt.
I agree. I think even so, this game in December, in Atlanta, would be a totally different game. We saw it last December. Alabama struggled all year long. Hell, even the game before the SEC championship game. And I think this is more Nick Saban based, but that team showed up and played their best game when it mattered, and they beat Georgia. And there's, I do not hold the argument that Georgia should have been in the playoff last year. There's a lot of people that do, but that game cost them in the playoffs. And, I look at this game like it almost feels like a COVID game. And I think the media and the country is looking at it like that because the absence of Nick Saban. And I kind of want to get y'all's feedback on that. Like, would this game have more implications? Would it have more static in the media if it was Nick Saban involved?
No, I don't think so. But I'm telling you, I mean, I disagree. I mean, it's Alabama and Georgia. It's all about perception of who's the best team in the SEC, who's been the best team in the SEC for the last 6-7 years. I think it's going to be a huge recruiting tool for whichever team wins to maybe to get some players that are, bouncing between both schools. And coach had mentioned something about, they better start fast against Alabama. One team you can afford to start slow against is Alabama. Last year, Alabama, I got it pulled up. It punted or turned the ball over in 63% of its first 3 drives of every game. So, and the slow starts have been bad this year too. I don't know that maybe we scored a touchdown against Western Kentucky in our opening drive, but that's it. So, but as far as I mean, I still believe this is a big game. It's not going to have playoff implications, but whoever does lose, they're going to be a little bit behind the 8 ball. Because there's still a hellacious schedule for both these teams going forward, and the margin of error just gets that much thinner for both teams, But to me, it's still Alabama and Georgia, man. We can talk about how great Texas is and Tennessee, but until one of those teams knocks off either Alabama or Georgia, it's still our lead. So
no, I agree with you, Kevin. I think this game, to me, the only thing I can disagree is saying that I do think this game holds a little bit more weight. I don't think it holds the weight of a Nick Saban Georgia in the middle of the season or what have you. But I would be dumb, at least personally, if I said the winner of this game is not in Atlanta in December.
Well, I'll say, yeah, I agree. And I'll say this too: you're probably right as far as maybe it's not as important to Georgia, but for Kalen DeBoer, it's a huge game.
I think it's the biggest game of the year.
As an Alabama fan, I want to know that, hey, Georgia didn't necessarily have a Nick Saban problem. They just had an Alabama problem, and Kalen DeBoer has not missed a lick as far as recruiting. His class is as good as any his class he's got currently committed or whatever you want to call it is as good as any class Saban has ever signed in his tenure. So I think we're going to be fine recruiting, but Kalen DeBoer is going to have to prove that he can go toe to toe with Kirby Smart like Nick Saban did every single year. Otherwise, otherwise it doesn't make a difference.
No, I agree with you, Kevin. I think you got great points. I'm going to bring in, I think the one we've all been waiting to hear for. He's about to smile through his ass cheeks in here, but we got to bring in Tony Curtis here because we know these battles have been it's been us against Tony for the past 7 years, and it's going to be us versus Tony again Saturday night. I don't think we'll talk to each other on Saturday as a whole in the group, but that's okay. Tony, what do you think has to happen for Alabama to pull this game out in Tuscaloosa? We know they're going to be the home team. We know there's a hurricane, going to be some weather involved. What does Alabama have to do to win this ball game?
Well, first, I want to address this because, like you just said, I love and hate this game so much because every time we play Georgia, I hear from people I ain't spoke to in 5 years, literally. And it's only when we lose. Like, I don't hear from these guys throughout the year. They don't comment on nothing. Let us lose to Georgia. And I got people that I didn't even know had my number calling me. I answer just because I don't know who the number is. I want to figure out who it is. I answer it, and they're like, "Hi, Alabama, blah blah blah," and whatever else you got to say. Georgia, go Dogs. I'm like, if I don't talk to you on a regular basis, sit down. Do not hit me up. Talk to somebody you talk to. Do not call me. I don't care, because that's what pisses me off so much. And you know how I get when I get mad. I get heated and I start responding to everybody, which I think is one of the reasons why they do it. But as far as this game goes, I'm with Coach Price on some things. It does matter. Anyone says it doesn't is stupid. But it doesn't have the same feel. It doesn't have the same buildup as it did in 2020, 2016, 2017 is national championship, but 2021 SEC championship. You don't have the same feel where you're like, I got to win this game. But me being an Alabama fan, I'm like, we got to win this game. Not because of the playoffs, but just for the new players that are in the program. Like, Kalen DeBoer needs a huge win like this to carry on for the rest of the season. Because, I mean, like I said, it doesn't matter how much talent you got. Let's say Alabama loses this game and doesn't look good losing. Let's say it turns bad. You got to find a way as a first-year head coach to do what Saban was able to do so many years and get that switch to flip in their heads to move on to the next game and try to finish the season strong to get back and play Georgia again. We don't know if he's capable of that yet. I don't know if the team's capable of that yet. I think Jalen Milroe is 10 times the leader he was last year. Like, just hearing him talk, like him talking about the Georgia game they did, he was hard to sit still talking about what they had to do, how we need to be. But another thing that Coach Price said, Alabama and Georgia both have had this problem all year. They start slow, which is weird because Alabama's offense is supposed to be this big explosive offense. I don't know if it's by design, of us not trying to show too much before the Georgia game or what, but we've started slow, and then all of a sudden we pick up. The team who comes out slow this game could end up being down 17 points before you
Tony,
know it.
Would you feel better about the game if Georgia would have looked a lot better against Kentucky? Because I think I would have.
100%. I 100%. If Georgia would have played Kentucky, like beat them by 20, I'd be a whole lot better feeling than I am right now, because we said it so many years about Nick Saban. You do not want to play Nick Saban,
An angry
Nick Saban after a close game or a loss. It's the same thing with Kirby. You do not. Kirby probably has these guys foaming at the mouth right now before they even get to dinner. Like, it's a scary thing. But if you don't think both these teams are going to be ready, emotions are going to be high. But obviously, whoever can control it is going to be better. But the keys for Alabama is, I feel like we got to get somebody else the ball other than Ryan Williams. I really do feel like this is.
Hey, did you know he's only 17?
Not what? He is?
Told us how many times?
17 should be a senior in high school right now.
He must be the youngest player in college football.
Oh my God!
But I feel like that's kind of actually been a disguise, because Jeremy Bernard is supposed to have been the guy, is from what everyone said, and we've yet to target him hardly anything at all. So I don't know if we're setting something up for him or the other guys, or if Ryan Williams just is our best guy, which could be. I mean, he's talented, but trenches, you got to win the trenches. If Alabama can establish the run like they did last year in the SEC championship, and we can wear Georgia down and protect Milroe, their defense is going to be in for a long night. But on the opposite end, for Georgia to win this game, it's 100% on Carson Beck. Nobody else. Carson Beck. Because Georgia doesn't have the skill players on the outside where they have this huge explosive offense. I mean, they got some speed, but like Arion Smith, he's not a guy who's going to route you up, and he's just going to fly down the sideline. If you can't outrun him, he's going to beat you.
And our last two games, if the quarterback complete passes, we'd probably give up a couple more touchdowns those games. Our secondary has been getting beat pretty consistently.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. The things that have helped that is we've been getting pressure to the quarterback, so obviously it messes the throat. But if you don't get pressure to the quarterback and you get beat, it's wide open touchdown. I mean, and Beck's going to hit it. But that's what worries me the most on Alabama's defensive end is us, because our best pass rusher is hurt. He might not play this weekend. Quay Russaw. I hope he does. We'll see. But if we can get pressure to Beck, I feel like it'll be kind of like the SEC championship last year. He doesn't make good decisions when he's having to move around. If he can get his pre-reads down, he can get the ball out before you get to him, he's fine. But that's the worry for Alabama. We got freshman DBs over there on the corners. If Carson's got time, he's going to eat them alive. And I'm not a Beck guy, but he's going to eat them alive if he has time to throw. So,
to be honest with you, Tony, and I'm gonna throw this out here before I throw it to Coach Price and Coach or Dylan before they get their insight in here before we move on. I think the key to this game, you say it's Carson Beck. I think it's Travis Etienne, or not Travis. Damn, his brother. I think it's Etienne. I think Etienne is the key, and the reason I say that is if Etienne gets the ball rolling and he's running efficiently, it opens up a whole lot more for Carson Beck. And you're right. We don't have the playmakers outside like we did last year that can, I think can really stretch the field. I mean, yeah, we have Arian Smith and, a couple of these other guys, but I think where we're the most dangerous is in the red zone, throwing a fade up to that 6'4" transfer from Miami. But I think the key to this game is Etienne, and I think it's maybe another back, whoever it may be. We've got to run the ball effectively. And if you look at the teams against Alabama, even South Florida ran the ball effectively. So it's like if we can run the ball effectively and play action pass, I would, I got to put Georgia above. I think.
Yeah, but you got to also look at the matchups, like you're saying. But you're comparing when it's not saying talent.
No, you're right. There's matchups. There's going to be some ballers on Alabama.
Well, no, I'm just saying with South Florida defensively, you're not worried about just stopping the running back. You're worried about stopping the quarterback on zone run. You're not worried about Carson Beck running. I mean, if he breaks a couple runs, if they do a zone read with Carson Beck, he gains 15 yards, so be it.
Hey, he can scoot now.
That's what I'm saying. We'll sell out to stop Etienne and try to get in third and long situations. Now, y'all are weak on the offensive line right now because Tate's not going to play. That guy hadn't played much. I'm not saying he's going to be bad or nothing, but, I mean, I think Alabama's going to set out to stop the run. Georgia may hit a deep shot early. I hope not. But if I'm Bobo, I'm taking those shots early to go ahead and let them know you got to play this.
The good news is Bobo is prone to shit his pants.
You got to sell up Alabama and make them think. And I think the key to this game is the absence of Nick Saban. Some of the things that Bobo's going to do, Nick Saban, he's had a lot of experience against Bobo. Who were you to say he wouldn't make an adjustment and make it make sense? He's done that. So it's like, I think realistically, this is the one Alabama-Georgia matchup in the past 10 years where you can say it boils down to coaching. I don't think it's about the players. I think it's coaching and schemes.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this game has always been about and always will be about, winning your one-on-ones and winning the line of scrimmage. To me, that's what this game has all. Whoever's done that every time these teams have played, whether it's Nick Saban or DeBoer, that's who wins this game.
Well, and I look, I can sound like a homer all I want. I think Jalen Milroe's the hardest man to stop in college football right now. If you just look at him, he looks so much more confident. Our line's set right now. He's actually going through progressions. If he continues to develop like he's doing right now, like I said, he's going to count for 40 to 45 total touchdowns. He's going to shoot up in draft boards.
He
can prove it against Georgia.
He's the scariest and hardest player to write up a game plan for and defend in all of college football. There's nothing.
I agree. He's like Reggie Bush at quarterback. I mean, the guy can realistically take over a game with his legs.
Yeah.
Because, if you can defend something perfectly, if you miss on your pressure and he gets outside, he can beat you legs, or you could bite. He can hit you through the air on the run. I mean,
He's still. I mean, I love Milroe, but to me, he hasn't looked much different this year in the first 3 games than he did last year.
I disagree.
He's still slow to make decisions in the pocket. He's slow to take off and run unless it's a designed run.
Yeah, but the difference
and
is
he's not hitting his 15 to 20 yard passes in the middle of the field. He can still throw a bomb accurately at 70, but he's still going to have to hit the intermediate passes to the tight ends and the guys running in the middle of the field.
The reason things take so long is that's his offense. They're all long developing their plays.
Well, you can't. If that's the game plan against Georgia, or Tennessee, we're screwed.
Oh, I ain't
You
worried
can't
about
take-
Tennessee defensively. That screw them.
Tennessee's got the best defensive line in the SEC.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Well, we'll see. So far, their stats say they do.
Yeah.
It's easy
So
against Cave Springs.
you take these long developing plays that we've been throwing out there against Georgia and guys that can get after the quarterback. That's bad. It's not a good recipe. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
but
we'll see.
when you're running the ball successfully for 5 to 6 yards a play, you're able to get those long developing plays because they got to respect the run. They're not going to send 8.
I mean, and our offense, our first couple of games, our offensive line was patchwork too. So, who knows? It's a new season every game.
Yeah, both teams had a week to get right.
Yeah, luckily Georgia was missing 3 of their 4 starting defensive linemen against Kentucky, and they all should play this week. So.
Also, I know they're not on here. Let's talk about Tennessee for just a second. Look, y'all need to look through all that smoke. This is every year with Tennessee. They do this every year. It's me and Dylan say it is a gimmick offense.
Yep.
Gimmick offense. If you can stop them from getting 4 to 5 yards a pop on first down, they suck. They completely suck. And their defense, dude, Pierce Jr. is the most overrated NFL draft prospect of the last 25 years. If you go look at that guy's stats last year, he does not have one single sack against Power 5 team. Not one. It's all against the FCS schools. This guy sucks.
I don't know, man. Oklahoma's one of the best defensively coached teams in the country, and Tennessee, scored a good bit of points. I don't think it's the same Tennessee.
But why are we saying Oklahoma is one of the best defensive teams? Because Venables is the coach? Because last year they were terrible on defense.
That's coached. I mean, they're well coached, is what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying, though. But how do we know that? Because they haven't played anyone this year, and last year they were terrible on defense. I think Auburn's going to beat them this weekend. So then where do we go from this weekend if Auburn beats them at home and we just hyped up Tennessee against Oklahoma?
I don't know. I can't, it's hard for me to look at last year's stuff. I mean, Alabama, Georgia. I mean,
Oklahoma scored 14 on Houston this year.
Alabama and Georgia hadn't played anybody this year. So, I mean, this is the weekend where we're going to start finding out.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying we overhype them every year.
Yeah, we do. I just think they're a little different this year.
I think their quarterback's legit. I think he's going to be the number 1 quarterback.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I think he's probably close to the top of the best quarterback in the country discussion already, and that's pretty scary.
Let me ask y'all a question, because this is something, and I've spoken to Davis about this a lot with the NIL. What do you think these coaches are really telling these kids? I mean, do you think it's, hey, because it used to be go out and win for your school, and this is pride and honor and all this stuff. I mean, but let's just be realistic. That ain't happening much anymore, especially these 5-star kids, which everybody's salivating over. Do you think they're you think they're selling draft stock and playing time? I mean, you think it's like a real
I can tell you right now, 100% factual information. I'm not going to say too much, that Tennessee is 150,000% selling playing time and money. I'm talking about dropping major bags.
Well, I mean, I think they are.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. If you're not doing that now, you're going to be behind the 8 ball, no matter what team.
Exactly. And I mean, I'm not trying to be a homer and say, "Oh God, Auburn pride," but they're doing it too. I mean, everybody's got to be doing it. Auburn's not doing it enough.
Well, that's the problem. I think what Miami paid $1 million for Cam Ward. That seemed like a bargain at this point.
Well, I feel like Hugh's trying to get to the point to where Alabama and Georgia is. Georgia and Alabama is not going to overpay for a guy. They're not. They will lose a kid over NIL because they're going to get another kid that's either slightly under or just as good that comes in and comes in 2 years and then earns that NIL money.
And the other problem too is and I'm not saying this to bash Auburn or anybody, but they're not on the level historically of a Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia in that order in the SEC. Well, I'll go to my grave. I know Cam Newton was paid to go to Auburn.
Oh yeah.
So, and I think everybody can gets that. But the thing of it is now is every team can match each other. So if you get offered $1.5 million to play at Auburn or Georgia or Alabama, your draft stock's going to, it's not really going to matter much because like that Nico Lamalea, however you say his name, that dude would have been a first rounder if he went to Vandy. So, I think the NIL is actually, I think it's designed, I guess, maybe for more parity, but until they get some kind of cap limit or something, I don't think parity is going to be much involved.
I think they got to do a cap limit, Kevin, to not only protect the athletes, but protect the school.
They do. They do. Vandy can't spend Georgia money or Kentucky or a lot of
And
these
it's
things.
like, how do you expect Vandy to find their one prospect, and that prospect's giving them the idea, hey, I'm gonna go to Vandy, and they're
Right.
like, hey, let me drop you $2 million, and that's all we got, by
Yeah.
God.
And
And he says, see ya.
and if we were being perfectly honest, Texas could outspend Georgia, Tennessee, and Alabama combined.
Combined, yeah.
So it's not just the Auburns of the world I'm worried about. It's also the rest of us that's been in the SEC since the beginning of time.
Even A&M, I mean, they've got money.
A&M can do it.
Wazoo, and it's like
that's all. But that's also another thing you can say. A&M already spent that. Remember that the defensive class they signed, all that NIL money they spent, and they were terrible. So
right.
I guess you got to have a coach and a staff that can put it all together as well.
Well, before we move along in this game, we haven't got to talk to two Georgia fans. Let's bring them on here. Let's start with Coach Price. Coach Price, your expertise on this Alabama-Georgia game, and then we'll go to Dylan.
Well, it was like I said before. It's all about if Georgia starts slow and Alabama goes up a couple of scores. But you hit the nail on the head when you said it's not the same as it was when it was 4 teams to make the playoffs, because Georgia felt that they were cheated not getting in the playoffs because they only lost the SEC championship game. Now it don't matter. So you think about it. If you went and you did everything right now and you put Georgia in that fifth seed, we got 3 cupcake games to make the national championship. But on the other bracket, you could have Tennessee, Texas, Alabama, all in the Ole Miss, all in the same bracket. We wouldn't have to worry about them until the championship game, which means by the time Georgia would play one of those teams in the championship, dude, y'all done straight up sways at each other. Like we said earlier about Tripp and old buddy. Somebody gonna die today.
Man, good thing I was on mute because I was laughing there. But no, I agree with you. I mean, Dylan Brooks or Dylan Milrow might be this week. It's been a couple different things there over the past couple years. But Dylan, I always appreciate your feedback, and most of the time you're right. What do you expect from this Georgia-Alabama game? A much different game than we've seen in the past 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel the same without Nick. But to me, man, there's over the past 6 years under Kirby, there's only been one team that gets me nervous every time they come on the schedule.
Dada.
And it's fucking Alabama. And it's because we haven't had success against them. So to me, when we're talking about pressure, I get that DeBoer is expected to win this game because that's the level that Alabama plays at. But to me, he's playing with house money. Like, if you lose, it's okay. Well, you lost to the best head coach in the country. If Kirby loses this game, they're going to be like, dude, I mean, it wasn't a Nick Saban thing. You just can't beat Bama. Which, I mean, if there's only one team in the country you can't beat, I mean, you're still relatively a successful coach, and he is. But, I mean, to me, the pressure's on him. And like I said earlier, to me, it's about who can do the simple things better, who blocks better, and who tackles better. Because if Georgia does like they did against Kentucky and you give up an average of 6 and 7 yards on first down, they're going to do a lot of design QB runs. Milrow's going to extend drives, and Georgia's going to get beaten time of possession and field position again. So you have to win the first downs, have to win the line of scrimmage. And like I said, we're getting 3 of our 4, starting D linemen back this week, supposed to be fully healthy. So, it's going to be a war in the trenches like it always is. And can you stop the explosives? If you can make Alabama drive down the field, earn every first down, you can win the game. But if you get out of your rush lanes, you get upfield on Jalen Milrow, and he can take off for 75, or he can step up, break out, and hit Ryan, the 16, 17-year-old, 80 yards down the field, you're going to get beat. You got to limit the explosives. That's the main thing. Just tackle Milrow. It's so damn hard to do, but you have to do it.
Yeah, no, I think, you know, what's wild is you watch that Michigan Alabama game from last year, and you saw, I mean, they were able to wrap him up and you know, keep him in the pocket and make him throw the ball successfully, and he just wasn't able to do it in that game.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we've seen a lot. But at the same time, against Georgia last year, he did enough to win. So it's like, you know, I think this is one of those weird games. I do feel the sense, and I don't know. I know this is weird to say, but I truly feel that if this game had Nick Saban involved, it is almost a guaranteed Alabama win. I just have that feeling that Alabama has the answer, especially at home. But I think you're right. The pressure, I don't know if I don't think it's necessarily all under Kirby. I think this is all under the Alabama team. You've got a lot of Alabama players on that team that haven't experienced Nick Saban. You know, you've got a lot of players that have. So it's like, how do you differentiate that going into a big game against, I mean, you know, like you say, TJ, you know, daddy and son. I don't think there's a problem with saying that. I think how do these new freshmen at Alabama, or even the sophomores that had 1 year with Nick Saban, how do they say, okay, not only is this different, but when we get down 14-0, or if we, how will we react? We haven't seen an Alabama that can do that. Nick Saban was always the constant, and it seemed like no matter what happened, he was in charge, and they were going to come back. So
there is that, you know, with not having Nick Saban. But for me, the type of guy that Jalen Milroe is, as long as Jalen Milroe is at Alabama, you're going to have the same mentality you had with Saban there, because he passed that on to Milroe, and Milroe is one of the best leaders you'll find in the country. So, I mean, it's going to be that while he's there.
Well, does anybody have anything else they want to add on this game before we move on? It actually didn't get that heated. I thought it would, but I'll be honest.
Yeah, Georgia's probably going to win by 32.
Well, you just threw a wrench in it after I was going to, or before I was going to say it. I was going to say this is the 1 year, you know, that we haven't gotten any fights over this game. And I'll be honest, I think we all know the reason is Nick Saban. Alabama fans are able to say if they lose this
early
game,
rounds in the fight. This is what the third round of the fight. We wait till we get to the to when it really counts and them punches start really mattering. Then this conversation is totally different.
Oh
well,
yeah,
it's almost,
then I'm gonna have
like
steam
both
coming out
teams
TJ's
can
ear.
say this. You know, it's like, hey, Georgia fans can say, well, if we lost, it was a road game in Tuscaloosa, you know, and then Alabama fans can say, well, we didn't have Nick. We didn't have Papa Nick there.
It was a monsoon.
We weren't prepared. It was a monsoon. There's excuses on both sides of the ball on this game.
I've watched every Kirby interview since his opening interview when he came to Georgia 9 years ago. Win or lose this game, I already know what Kirby's going to say post game. We got to get ready for Auburn.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I watched
the same. It's the same thing.
That's exactly what he said. He's like, so what? How much does this game mean to you? He goes, after the game, it means we got to get ready for Auburn. That's exactly what he said on the press conference I watched today.
And I don't think that's
more
just
for sure in the SEC now.
I think the team is bought into that. That's just who they are under Kirby.
Yeah, I think, you know, all these people that have oversold the Kentucky performance and this and that, you could also say that before the Kentucky game, Georgia looked the best in the country by far. It's like, you know, they had a terrible game.
Yeah, and they ain't played nobody, but I mean, smashed the shit out of Clemson, and they're smashing the shit out of everybody right now.
Well, it's also we've struggled. There's no excuse of the game play, but we've struggled with Kentucky, whether it's at home or away, the past 5 years. So it's like, matter of fact, the last game that we blew out Kentucky, me and you were in attendance there. Yep. And I don't know how long ago that's been, Dylan. I mean, it's been a while.
Mark Stoops ain't no dummy.
So, you know, it's like Mark Stoops, did it not seem that he made a comment before that game even started that he anticipated to lose a close game?
Yeah. Well, look, man, it is about matchups. I mean, I mean, look at Kirby, what Kirby's been able to do against Josh Heupel in Tennessee. Just shut him completely down. Saban had no answer for it. So, it's you know, some coaches, man, some coaches have just got it got it dialed in against certain offensive coordinators and vice versa. So who knows?
Well, hey, I challenge you guys to join back here on Saturday morning for maybe a more of a heated discussion on this topic. But we're going to move it on. As I saw some messages here in the group message, and they're obviously right. I'm going to throw it to the man himself to start it off on the year. Coach Price's dumpster juice. And the reason I'm ready for this is because, you know what? I don't even know if Coach is ready for this. So his answer might shock the world here. And I think we're transitioning into NFL football. Unless Coach Price has a different idea. Go ahead and take it away.
Well, first of all, it doesn't take much to get the truck started because I had it serviced in the off season. Now, my first stop that I'm going to make is going to Arlington, Texas. And we're going to talk about them Cowboys and them 8.5-inch Peters that y'all can't get across the goal line. They can't even get a first down for you. They're always overhyped every single year. And then the Cowboy fans do exactly what y'all start doing every single year. You start burning the gear in week 2. That's a lot of trash to have to go pick up in 2 weeks. So I'm telling you right now, you Dallas Cowboys and you Dallas Cowboy fans, y'all need to go home, watch some of the Vanderbilt films, and get the same attitude and realize it ain't going to happen for you. And the reason why is because you're straight trash. The second stop I'm making, I'm not even going to the stadium. I'm going straight to your house. Mr. Raheem Morris, you drove the ball down the field, you went for it on 4th down, and you got stopped. John Madden is rolling in his grave right now. You take the points. And the reason why you take the points is because look what would have happened for you. If you had to kick the field goal, did exactly what your defense was supposed to do, and make the stop, get the ball back, drive it down the field, you could have kicked the field goal at the 20-yard line and won the ball game by 1. So Raheem Morris, you and your coaching decisions, everywhere you went and everywhere you are, is always going to be the same with me. You're straight trash. Now, this one is the one I like the most. Can you pop up that list for me one more time, be on those NFL games? Now, when I sit and I look at this, I say, is it the players? Is it the coaching? Is it the fans? Or is it Jake from State Farm? Because damn it, son, you need to quit taking these referees out for lunch on Saturday afternoon because they killing every single team in the NFL on a Sunday. I have never seen so much garbage calls in ball games until you watch a Kansas City game, which makes it even worse for you, Raheem. Not only were the referees trash, they gave you the bag to jump in. So the referees that want to call any Kansas City Chief game right now until y'all act together, Jake, y'all are straight trash. And the last stop I'm gonna make is to Auburn, Alabama.
Good thing Craig got off here.
But he shouldn't have, because the thing about it is I got Hugh in the passenger seat. And the reason why is because what he said is not bad as a coach. You just should have said it when you blew the whistle in practice on Monday. Because that's a message that your players need to hear, especially when we're paying you now. But he was only in the truck with me to ride to New York because we already know that ice is slick, usually at one time of the year. But with baby oil, Puffy, we can go all 12 months.
And I heard there was 1,000 bottles, Coach.
They all straight trash.
What about North Carolina Tar Heels? Giving up 70 to James Madison.
Hey, man, North Carolina is actually the new emblem that's on the trash bag box.
He tried to quit, and the players wouldn't let him.
That's right. You ain't lying. He really did try to quit. And the player said, "No, Coach, we need you."
Hey, let's keep the trash game going.
No, hey, I want
Number
to ask you this,
16. Number 16.
when you talk about trash, Coach, I gotta ask here. Okay, there's a lot of trash going on, especially in the NFL.
Mhm.
But how much emphasis do we put on Travis Kelce? This man is out of shape. This man is drinking Four Locos on Thursday night and bootleggers on Friday night and trying to go out here and play on Sunday with the grace of Taylor Swift, holding the jewels there. And it ain't working out. This
No,
guy
I'm
When are we going to start talking about Trevor Lawrence in the same breath as Bryce Young?
That's what I'm trying. Hey,
Straight trash too.
Hey, I'm trying to get there, but we have to go through this Chiefs hate, once a week. So let's let him finish his Chiefs hate.
Hey,
and then
we're
gonna start talking about the fraud.
I want to ask one person, and anybody's welcome to join in on this question. Why is there a pass on Travis Kelce when it is obvious this man has drank all off season long? He's not in shape. He looks terrible. And I think it's going to be before week 8 before he is even the same Travis Kelce. This guy couldn't put up a yard against the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay.
Travis Kelce is a true sign of this.
We're not worried about it.
You hadn't been getting no booty until the past 2 years.
Hey, listen, what's the Chiefs' record?
4-0.
Oh, they 2-0 with the refs' help, and they 2-0 by
It
themselves.
don't matter.
Okay. Well, that's all I gotta say, fellas. Listen. Hey, hold on for a minute. Something just came into my mind.
Oh hell.
A New England Patriot.
Oh
fan.
hell.
A New England Patriot fan talking about getting calls. Man, I love you to death, but that's the most hypocritical thing I ever heard in my life. Tom Brady got every call he freaking wanted.
You're wrong.
And the last time I heard, the Kansas City Chiefs has no gates. How many gates y'all got?
Listen, I don't care about gates, bridges, doors. I don't give a shit about none of them. I can tell you one thing, that Patrick Mahomes has more interceptions called back due to penalties than any quarterback ever. Matter of fact, he has more called back in 2 seasons than Tom Brady had in one career. I think that says something right there.
I don't say anything.
Listen, Falcons fans, what I think's very concerning for Falcons fans is that the one call y'all didn't argue with would have won you the ball game. It would have put the ball on the 1 yard line. First and goal, it's an obvious pass interference
100%.
and it wasn't called. But I guarantee you, if it switched the Kansas City Chiefs, by God, the ref would have threw it from the top upper deck with a free hot dog in his hand because they were free.
What's that guy doing in the league? Listen. When have we ever been in football when we had a living, breathing dynasty when they didn't get the calls, dude?
Hey, but in this situation,
it's always been that way. It's the face of the league. Nobody want to see a bad Chief team except haters. We gotta give them a call. They deserve it. Back-to-back champs, just like y'all was last year. Except we gonna actually finish our three-peat where Georgia didn't when they got their ass slapped by Bama. And I said Mr. Kamen gonna make his prediction. Milroe gonna put that thing so far up in y'all is gonna be coming out your throat. So go ahead and get ready for that since you want to hate on my Chiefs. But let's talk about trash.
Your Chiefs, Barry. You got 4 goddamn teams.
It don't matter how many I got. I only got but one team.
Hey,
Hey,
bless you kittens.
they hate me because I'm not a fanboy. Because I don't be standing out and just going for that one thing.
Barry just said they hate me because they ain't me. That's what
Well, Barry, look, I was in the shower minding my own business a few nights ago, washing the ball sack. And I see a YouTube notification pop up, and it's you guys talking. So I listen to it. Barry, ain't nobody on here love you like I do. You my brother. You on this Shador Sanders mountain. You are backing the wrong horse, bro.
Why?
Dude, he is awful.
What?
And I've listened to a bunch of ESPN radio guys that claim they have inside information from GMs and stuff. And
I gotta blow your ass up to see this.
Every single one of them have said Shador Sanders has played his ass out in the top 3 rounds of the NFL draft.
The top 3, he's gonna be in the first round.
No,
he shouldn't be.
No,
he will be.
No, ain't no way.
I take any bet right now. Shador Sanders.
I ain't gonna bet because I'm
not gonna bet until I get my $100 for Talia not playing it down in NFL. So.
That bet's still going.
No, it's not. It's not on a roster. It's over.
Here's the thing. This dude, when you bet somebody, you have to, when you make a bet, if you call DraftKings or anybody, you make a bet, it's technical. It ain't no question. You can't say never and expect me to pay you now.
Barry, if they're not, there's nothing.
The first round gonna take
you can't say never and expect me to pay you now.
There's nothing technical when the guy isn't in the league.
I don't want to talk about no tackle-overs. We know what it is.
Let's make a.
Hey, guess what? Tile is the same place Tua is. Somewhere sitting there and playing no damn football.
That's like me right now. I bet you $100 that I'll play it down in the NFL, Barry.
You said that you will?
That's the same bet according to you. Technically, I still got a chance.
Hey man, if you need,
what are we talking about? We know the bet's over right then.
If you need $100 that bad asshole, just send me your cash app.
Hey Craig, I think Craig popped up to the backstage or something.
I just want Barry. I tell you what, we'll call it if you just say I was wrong.
I wasn't wrong, but I'm gonna tell you one thing we always wrong about. We always wrong about number 16. Hey, we had to get Craig in a minute because only 6 of us could be in here because we cheat this year. We ain't even got the chopping block icon up there on the logo. We got that damn duck up there.
Unbelievable.
We got the Affleck duck up there. But let's talk about this guy y'all told me was a generational talent. Oh, he was going to be the next Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, all of that. He ain't one for damn.
Yeah, I don't.
He never said that.
He got all of that money,
overpaid.
And listen,
Andrew Luck.
And listen, let me tell y'all when it all went wrong. And
when Havoc said it, that's
what you say?
I said it's when Havoc said it. You need to have Havoc on this show.
Yeah,
to bash this quarterback because he's the one that loves him.
No, here's where it all went wrong. Do y'all remember? It was been several years ago. Somebody asked Trevor Lawrence about how he valued football, and he said something crazy that life was about more than football. And you can't have that mentality being what is it, $200-300 million man leading men. They don't want to hear that. And he has played like there's more to life than football. Trevor Lawrence is terrible.
Hey, dude, when people are actually saying that they wish that they would put Mac Jones in the game, you know you playing like shit.
Hey, dude, one thing about Mac Jones, which I think he's a certified nut.
He's a dog.
He's a dog. He'll die on that field for you.
Yeah.
He will die on that field for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude is proving it.
Look real quick. Just because we're talking about dead people, the funniest thing y'all don't see it. Y'all are in our Twitter group, but
we're gonna get canceled right here.
Listen, Barry McCocketer. He He tweeted.
We're canceled.
He said the day that he said if I was in the NFL, the day that I threw an interception to a dead man would be the day I retire. When Trevor threw that interception to DeMar Hamlin.
Oh my God.
Bro, and that makes it even worse for Tua. How you gonna let a zombie throw you into an apocalypse? This
No,
man
that's
went
Trevor, not
straight
Tua.
limp
Trevor.
after
Dude,
getting hit by a skeleton.
No, he talking about Tua when
Oh,
Tua
timeout.
got
So look, we got to connect. So DeMar Hamlin, a dead man, gave Tua a concussion, and then the dead man picked off the frog the next week. Hey, he's on a comeback.
Bro,
Tua's not smart. What's he think he is? Why is he going head first into a defender?
I'll
He's just dumb.
I'll answer that. It'll be my pleasure.
I'm sure it will be, Shador. I mean, Barry.
It's like I told y'all. It's like I always tell y'all that one day y'all gonna agree with me on your Tua dude. After 3 seconds, Tua is the best quarterback in the world if you count to 3. If you ever get up to 4, all hell is gonna break loose.
That's 90% of NFL quarterbacks that can't run.
It's true or not, it's gonna be a sack, it's gonna be a pick, or it's gonna be a trip to the emergency room.
Barry. So
That's what it's gonna be.
What happens if they suck? They get a top pick, and Miami, Tua's done. Say he retires. What if they get Shedeur Sanders? What's gonna happen?
Oh, they're
If
gonna
they had Shedeur Sanders right now, they'll be a contender for the playoffs.
Oh my God!
100%.
This man can't. Oh my God!
100%.
Shedeur Sanders can't. He can't even get outside the pocket.
Okay. Let me ask a
Christ,
question.
turn his
Let me ask a
back on
question.
this
Let me really
program.
ask a question. Okay, I know I don't have everybody with me on this.
You ain't got nobody.
No, I don't think that's true.
They're not one
When
person in this team.
you consider both players, let's just be 100% honest. No BS. When you consider both players in totality, you wouldn't want Shedeur over Tua.
No.
Let's just be honest.
Shedeur
Even doing.
replaces.
Oh, you know what they're gonna say? It's gonna be always. It's always a caveat, right? When Tua is healthy, he's not healthy.
Okay, so let's talk about this.
Never.
Shedeur, when he's gotten hit against these terrible teams, he's had these injuries which made him leave the field, or he's been playing on a sprained ankle. Dude, he can't throw when there's pressure to him. In the NFL, you talk about 3 seconds. If it's more than 3 seconds, Shedeur's getting sacked, or he's throwing a pick.
Shedeur will have a better career in the NFL than your boy.
No, he won't. He'll never freaking.
We don't even know. We back to it. I try to be nice. I didn't even put Tua on the slide tonight. Now y'all got me in my Tua
Be
gone.
nice.
I'm trying to be
I didn't bring
nice.
him up. I didn't bring him up, but we can talk about. I want to talk about Shedeur all we want because that guy is garbage.
It don't matter what you say. Y'all can say what you want to say.
If his last name wasn't Sanders, he wouldn't be on a single draft board at all.
The dude is. I'm not saying he's the best, but he's good.
Yeah, he's good for the damn.
He's good. Who would you take, Shedeur or the Frog?
The Frog.
You take the Frog over Shedeur.
Yes.
Stop it.
I mean, we're talking about the Frog and the Toad in that situation.
Y'all just hate it. You said it right then. The reason you saying what you're saying is because his last name is Sanders.
No, because he's not good.
That's what you're saying.
Barry, he sucked against Baylor, and then he had he had them rabbit feet hanging from his testicles.
How many points did y'all score against South Florida?
46.
No, it wasn't. Hold on, I got my games mixed up. I fucked up right now. I was thinking about another game. I was thinking about Kentucky and in Georgia.
They scored. That's Kentucky and Georgia.
I know. I was thinking about that. I got my games mixed up. But I'm gonna tell you right now, he'll go top 15 next year. Probably to Dallas, and you'll see he'll win a playoff game.
That's why I won't bet, because Dallas is one of those teams that will take a moron in the top 15.
But they're not going to.
That's how stupid Dallas is. They got rid of 7 starters to pay CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott.
They're not getting rid of Dak. They just paid him.
Yeah, they just paid him and CD, but got rid of 7 starters. Jerry Jones is an idiot.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, when you sit around, dude, and you know that your team just got rid of 7 starters to go pay CD and Deck, and you up there talking about the size of a man Johnson as a owner, you got me wondering.
This is really saying something right here, and I'm going to put it as simply as I can. I seen a tweet that said Anthony Richardson can make throws that 90% of NFL quarterbacks can't make, but he also can't make throws that 90% of the NFL can make. So Shador is 10 times worse than Anthony Richardson.
Oh man, y'all just going
Okay,
crazy.
this is what I got.
This is Anthony
This is the
Richardson.
question I got for you, Barry. This is the question I got for you, because we already know it ain't gonna beat Dallas. Where is he gonna go?
Who's he going to beat out? The
He don't-
mailman?
I mean,
No, I mean,
somebody's got to draft him, and the only place that I can see that might need a quarterback that bad is the Raiders.
I think it's several teams that probably need a quarterback.
I did
The
see
Panthers-
something,
And
though.
the Giants.
I
the
said
Panthers-
something about this as far as the Dolphins go. I don't know if y'all seen it. I don't think it'll happen, but it made the most sense for all the teams that it would be a 3-way trade between the Dolphins, the Panthers, and the Rams. That
To
would
get
send
Bryce
Matthew,
Young.
yeah, that would send Matthew Stafford to the Dolphins because he doesn't have that much money left on his contract. And after that, he's done anyway. The Rams need a young guy that they can develop, blah, blah, blah. So Bryce would go to the Rams. Stafford would go to Miami, and then, like, Carolina would get some draft picks. That actually makes a lot of sense for all the teams. I don't think it's going to happen. And I don't think it's going to happen, but that would
Bryce
be
ain't
smart.
it.
Would Bryce,
Oh! Let me blow this up. Say that again. Say
Bryce
that
would go to
again.
Los Angeles.
What do you
I
say?
mean,
Kevin?
yeah, I'm sure Bryce would go, man. But
And he-
Bryce isn't going to make it in the NFL.
and he'd sit
I don't think he
behind
likes to get hit,
Andy
not by
Stetson
big
with him.
NFL guys.
That's where he'd be sitting.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, Kevin, that's what I've been trying to tell Two-Turn. But you know, he'll down the hill. He'll home.
I'm not saying
He's such a
Bryce-
homer. He'll down the hill.
I mean, you know,
judge the guy.
I mean,
off the-
I heard a little bit of y'all's argument on that show as well. I was listening to, you know, Bryce did amazing in Alabama. He did carry us in a lot of games that year, but I just think he's too small, man. He everybody compares him to Drew Brees. Dude, he's 2 inches shorter than Drew Brees and probably about 30 pounds lighter. I mean,
He
he's
can't
not.
see over the line.
My thing
can't.
is with Bryce, I'm not saying he was ever going to be great in the NFL. I'm not saying he was going to be Drew Brees. But the problem is, I'm not going to judge somebody off of their first 16 games when they never stood a chance. I don't care
No,
what.
I do agree. He's
I
in
don't
a
care
shit.
what Andy
Yeah,
Andy Dalton's been in the league 14 years.
Man, don't you say
Andy-
that.
no, hold on.
And this past Sunday,
14 years don't change the
Andy-
personnel.
and this past Sunday,
It
Andy
doesn't change the
Dalton.
personnel, but Andy Dalton knows what he's looking for before anything happens.
Yeah, because he
Bryce
can play
hasn't
football.
developed
The
that
young guy
aspect of the game yet.
can't. He can play
No,
football.
listen,
The young guy
listen.
can't. That's
I know
all there is to it.
nobody's going to defend Tony, but I will right here. And the reason is, here's what I'm going to say. He's right. You put Andy Dalton on any team, he's going to be able to play football. He
It's
knows
just
how to play
it's like
football.
Brian
you know how to
Hoyer.
play
You put
football.
Brian Hoyer in. He's a
Right.
veteran. He
There's
knows
a
what he's
So
difference.
we're saying Andy Dalton is a better quarterback than Bryce Young. Why did he ever start over him?
No,
Look, I can tell you this. I can tell you
We
this.
agreed on this, Coach Price. We agreed that Andy Dalton should have started all last year. Bryce should have
My
never
thing is this: any good quarterback in the league, you look at any of them. There's 16 games. There was 1 or 2 games in there that you could say, "Man, that guy's got it." I have not seen one game where Bryce you can say
Not
and be
a
like,
damn
that
I can
guy's
show you
got
2
it.
of them
Not,
from last
not
year.
a damn
I
one.
can show you 2 from last year. And
And
second,
look, man,
but I mean,
Kevin,
look,
and what I try to tell Two-Turn is this right here. I know people think I'm an Alabama hater, and sometimes I am.
all the time.
Okay, but this is what I'm trying to say. Bryce Young, you look at him. I call him Frank Sinatra, and he's a black Frank Sinatra in a football uniform. He's just this lovely little boy. Like he would be the perfect son. I mean, he's got the greatest smile you ever can even hope to have. But you can't be a man and go on the field and see him as your leader and you get lifted. This dude is not going to do it. He just ain't that guy. I would take, it's bad when I would take Tua over him. You know it's bad.
Well, can I just say this, and I want at least one of yours honest opinion, and Tony's. But I'll be honest with you. I give TJ a lot of hell on, especially the group when y'all was all going in. I'm on the thing, and I was going in there and having fun. It's fun to get at Tony. I get it, But let me be honest at the same time, because I'm a realist and
Yeah,
I
right.
speak the truth.
Except when it comes to the Chiefs.
Hey, let me speak real to you again, like I did the Chiefs. But no quarterback. I mean, let's be honest. We put Jesus Christ at quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. He's going to struggle.
He's getting
No,
crucified again.
no, it won't. No.
So
He's
they'll
gonna
call
struggle.
Rooster Jesus from here on out.
No.
Let me tell you.
Barry, this
not
is my
only
whole
did
point.
Baker Mayfield struggle, Sam Darnold struggled there, and those two quarterbacks, arguably MVP candidates. Maybe not after this past weekend from Baker, but he's been great all year. Besides this last weekend, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, these guys made a career out of Carolina. So I kind of have to say, how can we not say that Bryce Young would have a career outside of Carolina?
Dude, but you can look. Andy Dalton, his Andy Dalton, 319 yards, 3 TDs, no interceptions. Everybody talks about Carolina not having any weapons. Deontay Johnson, 8 catches, 122 yards. Chuba Hubbard, 55 yards. I mean,
That's the running back. That's checkdowns.
Well, the running back also had 21 carries for 114 yards.
That's the running back making something happen. But second, look, let's add this. Adam Thielen is on the IR.
Oh, you hear what he said? He said that Dalton was a good because he was a vet, but now he's only good because he threw check down. See, that's
veteran quarterbacks check the
that's
ball
what
down.
he be saying. That's the kind of stuff. This is the kind of stuff I can't understand. You don't give nobody no credit.
That is credit. That's what I'm saying. A veteran quarterback knows to check it down when nothing's there. A young quarterback.
You mean to tell me the number one draft pick in the number one overall draft pick that was under the greatest coach of all time can't come to the NFL and know how to throw a check down, making $30 million a year?
But I mean, maybe
if nothing else, Andy Dalton proved Sunday that Bryce needs to see it, and Andy Dalton needs to play for the betterment of the team.
According to that logic, Andy Dalton's the best quarterback in the NFL because nobody in the entire NFL has threw for that many yards, that many touchdowns.
Pay in the bag.
So
I do agree, Tony. Nobody has thrown for that many yards or touchdowns this year. You're right.
I mean, so what do we? I mean, we can't just throw random stuff. A veteran quarterback, that is a credit to him. Tom Brady was the best quarterback in the world about checking the freaking ball down when he needed to.
He had multiple games.
So are you saying
Tom Brady's career? He had multiple games.
He won Super Bowls checking the ball down.
You saying that Bryce Young don't know how to check the ball down?
No, I'm saying as a young quarterbacks, their instinct in the NFL is to try to go for the bigger play until they progress and they learn the game better and start realizing, look, I got to stop trying to make this happen. I got to check the ball down more. It's a process. I guarantee you, if you took Peyton Manning's first 18 games he started and compare it to Bryce Young's, I bet you money they're worse. I guarantee.
All I can say is C.J. Stroud know how to check it down, and Jaden Daniels did a good job checking it down.
Are you thinking so?
And not just 18 games. He's had, this is his, not even 2 full years, 1 full year and 2 games. He's had 3 different coaches, 3 different offensive coordinators. How does that happen? And we're blaming him.
Because nobody can fix that. It don't matter who it is. Let's just be honest about this. The only thing that's going to fix Bryce Young is you drop him on the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay, so how come?
That's the only thing going to fix him.
Hey, and he'd be nice as hell.
He needs everything. He needs everything to make it work, dude.
Okay, so how come we got this? You got this opinion there. You just admitted it. But if we take Brock Purdy off the 49ers, he ain't playing for nobody. He's sitting. He's holding the clipboard everywhere because he's got to have everything perfect. He sucks.
Well, if you kind of look behind the curtain,
nobody said that. Hold on. Didn't we just watch Purdy play without Mac and without Debo? And did he even have
McCaffrey?
Yeah, he didn't play. Yeah, he didn't have McCaffrey.
But let's look. Okay,
he didn't have McCaffrey and he didn't have Debo. Did he even have Kittle?
Yeah, he had Kittle and Ayuk. So still,
I'm gonna tell you right now. Purdy is better than Bryce.
Well, duh.
But he had Kittle and Ayuk, and Jennings was the guy.
But
so obviously he knows how to find receivers.
Put Brock Purdy his first 18 games in Carolina. For one, he's not starting in Carolina. Two,
here we are. We got the first.
Bryce Young is never going to be able to get taller. That's his main problem.
That's what I'm saying is we're not saying that he's going to be great or not. All I'm saying is you can't throw the guy after 16 games when he's been set up for failure. That's
Well, my
like me
thing
going
is-
to the freaking NAACP and asking for a grant to college. I ain't going to get it.
Well, my thing.
Why?
I'm setting myself up for failure. I ain't black.
My, oh,
You
that's
act
a
like
good
it
one.
sometimes.
It ain't great.
Hey,
Hey, Barry, I done told you where I'm black at. Man. It's not appropriate.
And,
hey, I
and
gotta
young
say
ain't
that
no
was
rooster.
pretty good. But I gotta ask you this, Tony. If you wanna look at it that way, damn, you messed me up with the whole black comment. Go before that. What did you say?
About who?
You said something about Bryce Young.
Oh, Barry said everything had to be perfect for Bryce Young, and I'm like, okay, maybe that's true. But why are we not saying that about Brock Purdy? Obviously, everything has to be right for him. Has to be perfect.
Yeah.
Let me.
But
let
if
me,
you look read behind the lines or between the lines when Barry said that, he actually was saying that when you call Brock Purdy trash, that him and Young are the same.
That's fine. Hey, if we can both agree to that, I'll say Bryce Young is a dumpster.
Oh, so Purdy got to be trash in order for us to acknowledge that Young is trash.
No, I'm just trying to break the slate even. If that's the way to do it, I'll do it. Oh, Bryce could be garbage. I'm just saying he's got to have a chance.
I'm gonna tell you right now, dude. I give you crap all the time, but I do respect your football knowledge to a point. Now you're a homer and you're a hater, but dude, I know for a fact you don't think Bryce Young is good.
I don't think he's great, but like I said,
Say that. You see what he did? You see what I just did?
Hey, I'll be honest, Tony.
he
If he
good
ran
and
for
not be great in
president,
the
he'd
NFL.
make everything sound good.
He just said good. We didn't say great.
Good, they aren't never great.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, Tony the politician.
That's
On the
it.
flip side, look at the guy in Minnesota. What's his
You put
name?
Bryce Young on a good team.
Sam
he plays-
Darnold.
Sam Darnold. That dude's been trash his entire career, 5-6 years now, and now he looks like Brett Favre.
Or maybe he wasn't
Yeah.
trash. Maybe he was in terrible situations and he got
Dude, seriously, Minnesota.
He was
just
in
playing good
Carolina.
ball, dude.
Well, he does have what? Justin
trash,
Jefferson over there and
but
a couple other weapons
when
now.
you get 4 or 5 years in the league, you get better.
That's what I'm saying. If he goes somewhere good or not even good, just somewhere that's decent, and he sucks again, then we can say.
But again, Sam Darnold is not a little person.
Kyler Murray sucked for a couple years, and he's one of the best.
Kyler is still. I mean, you look, but you can't. I mean, I understand. I mean, the short aspect, but Kyler is 30 pounds of muscle bigger than Bryce Young.
No, he's not. Kyler Murray's.
You look at their legs, dude. Kyler Murray's tree trunks. Bryce is
He's
stiff.
bigger, faster,
He's
stronger.
built like Gary
He's
Coleman. Of
excellent.
course, he looks bigger.
And you know the difference between Bryce? Bryce and Murray. Murray's a dog.
Oh
And I don't even think he's good.
You know who Bryce
He
really
is.
Bryce's build is Doug Flutie. I mean and Doug Flutie had a decent career in the NFL.
Doug was better than Doug way better than
So we'll see. I mean, Bryce has got time. It's not like he's,
I'm just saying, I'm not calling a guy garbage.
And I want to see if I can get a little bit of truth serum out of y'all about that kid number 5, Jaden Daniels out in Washington. Can I hear it? I'm just gonna sit back. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna drop out. I'm gonna add Craig in, and I want to hear y'all talk about Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrow.
I'm gonna go first.
Go ahead, Tony.
I'm about to grill Joe Burrow off rip. I watched something today where people were saying how great Joe Burrow played last night. Shut up. No, he didn't. He pulled a Matt Ryan special. He sucked until they were down double digits. He absolutely blew the pipe for 2.5 quarters until they were down double digits. And then guess what it's time to do? Let's pad them stats. Let me get 300 yards passing and a couple touchdowns and we lose and look pretty on my stats. He sucked. The only thing
I can say about Joe Burrow is I can't trust a man that's got highlights, period.
Well, it's not just that. Like I said, it's just like Barry wants to say, everything's got to be perfect. What was Joe Burrow at LSU before Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson?
And he said, who else did he say?
Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. He turned into a superstar. Now,
he said Joe Burrow and who?
Jaden Daniels.
Who's that?
I'm going to get to Jaden next. But he played like crap. Jaden Daniels looked great. I didn't say Jaden Daniels was going to suck because of his ability. I said Jaden Daniels was going to end up in the hospital. That's what was going to ruin his career. He's going to look like Tua because he don't know how to slide. He's 155 pounds, and he's already got crunched a few times. He's going to run into the wrong linebacker in the NFL, and he's going to be doing like Tua, right, throwing up gang signs.
I think he's better. I think he's a better passer than Tua, though, so he doesn't have to run.
Well, Jaden's arm's stronger. That's what I'm saying. Since Tua's hip injury, he's lost 35% of his arm strength. I mean, he used to be able to sling it with no effort. Now it takes everything in him to throw it 55 yards.
Well, nothing's changed on my end. I still said Jaden Daniels was the best quarterback coming out in the draft last year, and right now he's playing like the best quarterback came out in the draft.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder how bad the Joe Burrow injury actually is. I mean, you start messing with that throwing arm, thumb, and wrist and stuff, man. If if it's not right, it's just never going to be right. There's no,
Well, I think the obvious, signs on the sideline too, of Joe Burrow, flexing his hand. I mean, the thing is not right, and there's been people lose mobility in their hand from this type of injury. I mean, the guy's not all the way right, and then you got the problems with the diva Jamar Chase out on the edge, who, matter of fact, won me fantasy this week. So great. We'll have you for next week as well. But I think the Bengals are an absolute dumpster fire. They are the laughing stock of the NFL once again, and it is a shame because of the high payroll. But I'll tell you the biggest thing that I see from the Bengals, the absence of Joe Mixon. That's been the whole year. Not having him on the everyday lineup, that's been the mainstay for years now. And I mean, think about it. Nobody thought there's two running backs. Nobody thought Joe Mixon would be anything outside of the Bengals, and nobody thought that J.K. Dobbins would be anything after the injury. And both of them have showed up and showed out. Chargers are 3-0, and Mixon is with the Texans, right?
Yep.
And they're 2-1, I believe, or maybe might be 1-2. I think they're 2-1. But I think Jaden Daniels' his performance last night, I think it goes for saying, I don't know how impressive it was. I mean, I think at the end of the year, we're going to look at a Bengals team being 6 wins at most, maybe 7. I don't think at the end of the year this win's going to be that impressive unless the Washington Redskins are only 6 wins themselves. I'm not calling them the Commanders. I'll be damned. But that's all I got to say. Jaden Daniels looked great on Monday Night Football, and Joe Buck was appreciative.
Yeah, something feels different about the Bengals this year because I think it's the past 3 or 4 years they've started out 1-2 or 2-2. Like they've had slow, rough starts every year, and then they pick up. It don't look like that's happening this year. It looks like they're about to suck.
Well, Beast of Kane's backstage. I don't know if you guys want to dive into anything else tonight, but I do encourage you. Friday night, obviously, is high school football, and we've got some stuff rolling on. But I encourage y'all to join us on Saturday morning. Let's get another pregame show before the Alabama-Georgia game. Get some real heat into here.
Georgia Alabama game.
That's right, Georgia Alabama.
I'd love to see the logic behind that right there.
They get on to me really hard in Florida here for calling it the Georgia-Florida game. That's all I've ever known it by.
Yeah, y'all got a right to say that. You don't got a right to say Georgia-Bama. It's Alabama-Georgia, and guess what?
We just go with the most recent natty. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Well, hey, the most
I'll
recent.
be in Tuscaloosa, so I won't be a part of the show, but I will be there in person to witness either a win or a butt whooping. Either way, I'll be there.
Hey, how's a school teacher afford $900 tickets every weekend? Is what I want to know.
Look,
what drugs you selling, Tony?
First off, that's what I'm saying. Y'all look.
Tell them who makes that money, Tony.
Y'all don't understand. I'm, for one, a ticket guru. I don't pay for them prices for those tickets.
Coming from the guy who
just watching right now.
Coming from the guy who paid $1,000 for a fake ticket.
Team it is. I don't care what team it is. If you wait till the Wednesday and Thursday, the week before the game, you will get those tickets the cheapest they'll ever be for that game. Because
where do you get them?
Thursday, people start panicking that they're not going to sell their tickets, so they drop the price $150 usually minimum. Now, once it gets to Friday and Saturday, it switches sides. People start panicking. They're not going to get tickets, so people jack them back up. I went to the national championship. I paid $700 total for 2 tickets. Both times I went.
Where are you getting them from? What I want to know. Like, where do you look?
StubHub, SeatGeek, it doesn't matter. Like right now, the cheapest ticket was like $252 on StubHub. I expect it to be down to about $200 by tomorrow afternoon. But I'm not going to get that ticket. I'm going to get a lower bowl ticket. I'll probably spend $600 on 2 tickets this game. That's fine. I don't really care. I mean, it's my hobby. I'm gonna go. But like the freaking Alabama South Florida game, I spent $90 on 5 tickets.
Wow.
I waited, and the same tickets the next day. Like I said, I bought them on a Thursday. The next day they were like I think it was $89 a piece before taxes. I got them $10 a piece.
Who turns line? He's saying he's Ryan Williams' uncle.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of, did y'all see what I sent? But I can't say the word, but Roll Tide Willie and then reject Georgia fan. I think they're gonna meet up and have a tailgate.
Oh God.
Well, hey,
Boy, it's gonna be
gonna
some
be-
window licking going on there.
Yeah, that's a few chromosomes short of an elevator ride there, fella.
God.
It's going to be a great atmosphere in Tuscaloosa. Hopefully the weather stays out, and hopefully for my sake, the hurricane goes a little bit more west here. We're looking at a pretty rough 24 hours. I guess it'll start next tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. So we hope for the best. Obviously, hey, we'll be watching college football, by God, no matter how the world is in on Saturday night. But always a pleasure here on the Chopping Block podcast. Great to be back on week 2 here. We got a lot to talk about. It seems like we never have enough time. But Bisa Kane, I don't know if you can hear me backstage, but send us home.
Yeah, we about to do it. Watch us